ask you a question. When you take your saws out to the woods or around your property to do a little cleanup, do you wear personal protective equipment? Equipment specifically meant for chainsaw use. I have to admit, when I was only cutting firewood, I never would. I had this small saw, it's a MS-251. Pretty much just a homeowner firewood type saw. Go out in the woods with either my dad or somebody else, and you'd always have a buddy, and safety wasn't that great of a concern. You wore maybe safety glasses, gloves, boots, but none of this other stuff. Then recently I stepped up to a bigger saw. It's not a huge saw. It has just about double the horsepower of this 251. It's the MS-362CM. It has an N-tronic carburetor on it, sort of the auto adjusting one, but it has a much longer bar. It's a 25-inch bar, and it has a lot more torque and inertia. So for me, I'm using this new saw to go out and cull pieces of wood for milling and sort of sentimental wood piece. I'm going out by myself into somebody else's woods to get these logs. So I kind of needed a little bit of insurance, kind of self-rescue type of stuff. If something did happen, I'd still be able to get myself out of the woods without having someone to have to come find me. We learned about some of these things at the Stihl Summit a few years ago, well, 2016. And at that summit, when they had us testing all the equipment, everyone had to wear this. Whoever was on the saw, they had to have a helmet, they had to have gloves, they had to have the chaps, and boots, of course. And it was just part of the program. I'm sure it's required by their insurance, but it's also a good idea. So let's talk about some of this gear. First off, let's talk about the chaps. These chaps, they're not a full pant. They're obviously a chap style. They have 9 layers of a cut-resistant material that's made right here in the US. These chaps are assembled in South Carolina. And they come in multiple sizes. These are the long. I'm a pretty tall guy, 6'2". One nice thing, they have a pocket you can toss in some of your wedges, your wrench or whatever. I'll probably put a holster on the back so I can carry my hatchet in the back too. Pretty nice unit. When the chain, a running chain, comes in contact with the chaps, the Kevlar strands get all tied up in the clutch mechanism, stopping the saw and preventing the chain, hopefully, from going into your skin. These may get a little toasty in summer, but that's why I went with the chap style instead of a full pant. Most of my cutting, though, I do in the fall, winter, and spring where it's a little cooler. I'm hoping I never have to need these, but it's nice to know that I have them, and there are 9 layers between my skin and that very sharp chain. The next piece of gear let's talk about is the helmet. This helmet, it's from Stihl. It's also part of the ProMark line, just like the chaps are, and it comes with a vented screen. You can see me through it, right? You think, well, should I be wearing a set of safety glasses too underneath this? Well, if your chain is really sharp, it's not making sawdust, it's making chips. The reason this screen is nice is because it allows plenty of airflow in there, so if you are cutting on a hot day, don't get overheated and sweat too much, so you're still able to see. Another nice feature is you have the earmuffs built right into this thing. These muffs have a noise reduction rating of 25. Just clips on like your normal hard hat does. Earmuffs clip down. Visor slips down. It has the regular turn adjuster just like your lid does. Pretty nice. It's a type 1 just like your normal hard hat is. In fact, my regular hard hat, I could clip this whole mechanism onto it. It has the same sort of little slots that would clip onto it if I want to wear my normal lid. This doesn't really, the helmet doesn't have really any cut protection. What it protects you from is falling debris mostly. A lot of times when you're out cutting a tree, if it's a live tree, you can't necessarily see all the dead branches that are sort of hanging up there. And as you start cutting and the tree starts moving a little bit, some of those branches may come down. This sort of, hopefully it protects you and you never have to embrace its full purpose, but it's nice to know that it's there and should protect you in case of a falling branch. Another item that's really important that I never thought about before was wearing specific chainsaw gloves. These gloves are and both gloves have it, they have a little tag on them right here that says Class 1. And what Class 1 is these are rated for a 45-mile-per-hour chain. Here in this orange section, it has more of the same material, just like in the chaps. The hands and arms are the second most injured area when using a chainsaw other than the legs. These gloves may be a good idea. A lot of brands, they only put the cut protection in the left-hand glove. So if you're a right-handed user and the chain would happen to come off the bar and it swings up and will hit you in the hand, that would protect your hands from that chain. The Stihl, these are also from the ProMark line. The Stihl gloves have it in both hands. So if you're a left-handed cutter, it protects you that way too, in your other hand. It has goatskin palms, so they stay very pliable when they get wet. In the past, I've just sort of used these dip gloves. If it's a really hot day, I may still wear these versus these. These are pretty thick gloves. But in the winter, they may offer a little bit of insulation too. I haven't worn them out in the woods yet, so I guess I'll give them a try. One thing I forgot to mention about the hard hat lid is you can put your normal hard hat liner in here because it has the same kind of suspension system. So in the wintertime you can wear your liner and still be warm, just like you would be on the job site. That's kind of a nice touch. And the final piece of gear I want to talk about is boots. These boots are keen utility. They're not specific chainsaw rated boots. Multiple companies make chainsaw related boots, but so they have sort of a cut resistant layer up here. What would you call it? Like the midfoot behind the steel toe, but these boots are steel toe also, and they have pretty good traction and high ankle support. At least in most of the woods I go into, there's a lot of down branches and stuff, and it's pretty important to have high boots just to keep your ankles nice and sturdy. These boots are also made in the USA they're made in Portland, Oregon from Keen. So besides the sort of the PPE stuff, your chainsaw also has some safety features built in. Two of the most important ones are designed to protect you against kickback. Kickback happens when this upper half of the nose gets into the wood and it spits the bar back up at you, and it can hit you right in the head or in the shoulder or whatever. And two of the key features in that are they're both tied into the chain brake. The first chain brake is right up here, right on the saw. You can hear it clicking off and then on. This is one that you can control if you have it off and the saw comes up like this, your hand will trip it. But also, if this saw comes up really fast, there's another one built into the insides of the saw that if the saw comes up too violently, it will also trigger. That's in both of these saws. Kind of a nice safety feature. So the next time you're in the woods, think about wearing some personal protective equipment. Maybe it'll help keep you safe in the woods if you're not out there with a buddy.